I got those TikToks just for you. And I'll play a little bit on the harmonica while I'm at it, too. All right, let's get into it.
Guys, look at what is happening with the hantavirus right now, because before the cruise ship outbreak even started, the CDC fired every single cruise ship inspector. Not only just that, but they cut thousands of employees and they left the World Health Organization.
Which is not suspicious at all.
And now experts are calling this entire response a disaster.
Health officials around the world continuing to monitor the passengers who returned home from the cruise ship at the center of a deadly hantavirus outbreak. More than a dozen Americans are still quarantining in Nebraska under strict observation.
RFK Jr. fired every single full-time cruise ship inspector at the CDC last year. The program actually wasn't even costing taxpayers a single dollar. The cruise ship companies themselves were paying for it. The person that's leading the cruise ship outbreak response for the CDC was actually one of the people that they let go. The CDC has now officially lost at least a quarter of its entire workforce, which is obviously thousands of people. And in January, the US officially left the World Health Organization, which means that the CDC does not get outbreak alerts from them the same way anymore. The former CDC director actually just said publicly that the agency has been dismantled and is now on the sidelines. Fired the team, cut the budget, left the World Health Organization. Did everything go according to plan?
This stuff is bogus. I mean, to me, it's bogus. It seems bogus. There's the story's fishier and fishier every day. And how weird is it that I trust that guy, this guy here, that I've never met before, more than most of the newscasters? I know I don't believe anyone just because they say whatever, but are you not at the point where this guy's probably more trustworthy than whatever most of the people that are spreading any other sort of news or something? This is an entertainment channel, all entertainment, not a news channel. Whatever happens, make up your own mind. But do you know what I'm saying? Like that's where we're at right now, and we're just not buying stuff anymore. It's just stupid and bogus, and the stories just get weirder every day.
One last question, and then I'm going to ask you your final thoughts before we go, Brian. What does virus translate to in Latin? Do you know?
Yeah, stay there. Great question. Stay there. Off screen here in my podcast studio. Okay. This is a Latin to English dictionary from 1771. I show you the copyright date. It's a very old book. This book is from 1817. Latin to English dictionary. I have over 30 of these from various decades, from 4 different centuries, including this one. So I have Latin to English dictionaries from 1771 to 2025. That is a total of 250.
Let me save you a minute of your time. Fast forward to the end because it's long. He just keeps on saying da 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 da. This is what it means, and here we go. Here's another minute later.
I say I don't know yet. I only have to this year. They all say the same thing. 100% of all Latin to English dictionaries translate the word virus, which is a Latin word, into the English translation. In every single one of them, it reads this, and I quote, "Virus," in Latin, means, in English, either poison, comma, especially of snake's venom. So it's got 2 definitions in every one of these books. It's either a poison, comma, especially of snake's venom. The next word in English that it translates into in all of these is venom. So it either means poison, a poison that is especially from a snake's venom, or it means venom.
Very strange. I mean, things have changed, and we use things and words differently, but very weird, you know? It's probably just the reptilians, right? They're taking over, putting little venom in us and whatnot. Probably not far off. I don't know what's going on anymore.
That ancient Chinese mirror shows you what's on the back of the mirror. Yeah, no, these are real. Is it transparent, metal? What are we looking at? Because these are 2,000-year-old mirrors created by the Han Dynasty. These are the same dudes that made 8,000 terracotta soldiers, covered them in quantum paint, and then buried them. Something was going on in this time that I don't really think that we can fully grasp. Astronomically aligned pyramids, just threw them up, put their whole calendar on these things. Sometimes they were cymatics, which these are sick. huge part of temple culture everywhere. You could put rocks in the ground and like record the frequency in a pattern of the earth or birds chirping or your voice chanting stuff. All right. How do they work? So they're regular mirrors, but they're a little convex. But to the naked eye, you just can't see what's really going on. This thing is a piece of glass, but the internal crystal lattice of the glass has been warped so that a hologram appears on the wall. Kind of a similar concept with the mirrors. Except they use micro dents in the metal to create warping of how the light gets reflected. What this does is it draws out a picture using shadows. So what you're seeing on the shadow is light getting focused into these lines, and then the gaps are the shadows. This creates the picture. Egypt also used tricks like this where hieroglyphs could be projected onto each other within the temple. This vehicle called the Merkaba, every human had one, where you could explore the realms of consciousness in a multi-dimensional way. The Tibetan equivalent is called the Rainbow Light Body. Both were used as tools to kind of break reality a little bit. The lengths that these guys went to teach this stuff, insane. Must have been really important.
And they had all the time to do this because they weren't watching YouTube videos about TikTok clips.
This clip spread fast because of how subtle yet unsettling it was. A woman caught on camera mid-movement, completely unaware she was being recorded. In just seconds, she turned her head far beyond what looked normal, almost a full circle. Then did it again, like it was nothing. What made it stranger was the person standing nearby, who didn't react at all, almost like this wasn't unusual to him. Viewers began pointing out that calm reaction, suggesting both individuals might be hiding the same secret. This video is guaranteed to puzzle you. At first, it shows a woman casually walking down the street, and everything looks completely normal. Then comes the twist. Within seconds, she suddenly turns into a pig, as if shape-shifting right there.
Dude, a pig,
it doesn't
guys.
seem natural,
That's not...
like something else has taken control of her body. After the change, she runs away. And since then, no one knows where she went.
I thought inside that woman would have been a beautiful butterfly, but...
Drop your thoughts on it in the comments sections.
Those are so goofy. I love them.
If there's no such things as aliens on Earth, then how do you explain this? Look at that little tentacle that used to be your foot, and all of a sudden it just fixes.
That's a good question.
See that little...
Maybe this is AI alteration.
And it's got some kind of like tentacle foot.
It like grabs.
And then it fixes it.
Grab my good hand. Grab my good hand from that movie.
I'm an alien.
Would an imposter be this fearless? This man has gone viral for one terrifying claim. I am an alien.
I'm an alien.
No fear, no hesitation. But here's the part haunting millions. The things he knows about Earth are impossible for any human to uncover. One look into those eyes and you'll realize this might not be a game. Those who listen say their soul shivers with a fear they can't explain. No record, no background, no trace of who he was before.
Ooh, wow,
he simply appeared
alien.
online one day, and within weeks, hundreds of millions had watched him. His message never changes. You've forgotten what you truly are. I'm only here to remind you. Simple words. But that stillness in his eyes, that unsettling calm, leaves people unable to look away. When pressed directly, is this just an act? He smiled and said, the answer you want doesn't exist in your language. Your words weren't built for that truth. Some call him a clever creator, gaming the algorithm. But his followers claim something far darker, that he predicted events in their lives before they happened, to the detail. He never speaks directly. He drops clues buried inside ordinary sentences, as if the truth is right there, but only for those ready to find it.
You feeling tired? A little bit hungry? Slightly anxious? Kind of bored? It's because you're transitioning into the fifth dimension. And those things are normal. Headache? It's not what they're spraying in the skies. It's not all the poison we're eating. It's definitely us going into the fifth dimension. And if that's not obvious to you by now and clear as mud, then no, I have no idea what's happening. Things feel weird. I'm sure you've watched plenty of videos. Things feel off today. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's feeling weird. Some people, I think, are waking up to something, and I think there's some weird thing going on. Don't get me wrong. I really do kind of think there's, we've gone through changes and stuff, and I think there is some weird something going on, and whether it's because of the magnetism of the earth or some celestial movement or whatever, I don't know. But things do feel weird and kind of different, but I've only been alive for 37 years, so I only have so much data, and I've only been really paying attention to this stuff since like 2020, really. I mean, I've always had thoughts in my head and suspicions of things, but things have been fishy ever since when they locked us in our homes and made us be online to do our own research, and then maybe we started coming to our own conclusions about what we think is going down when we look online and we look outside and make our own conclusions. But weird stuff. What was I saying about all this stuff? I don't know what I was saying.
Let's just break this down into two basic types of extraterrestrials. We've talked about the hybrids. Hybrid extraterrestrials are a specific type that have a lot to do with our genetics being mixed in there with them. And most of them look enough like us that they can be among us and have been among us for a long time.
Already?
Helping create different things in the sciences, in philosophy, in sociology, in politics, whatever. They're helping. When open contact occurs, my understanding is we will be told who they are and we will be able to interact with them in public.
I'm getting a transmission. You ask, what is it that you guys want to know about this Earth? And you are not ready to receive the gift. I don't know. I don't know. I can't do a good impression. I haven't watched him recently enough to do a good impression, but that was the main reason why I wanted to play it, because I wanted to do an impression of this gentleman, because he always speaks an alien or entity or something speaks through him or something. He seems to have a lot of positive messages that I've heard. But it's kind of weird and fishy, and I don't like anyone who claims to know. I don't really like those people. I don't claim to know, so I guess I like myself. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this whole channel is about just like speculation, and I just like, hey, do you see stuff out there? What about this thing? What about that? Does it make sense to you? What's going on? That's kind of what this thing is, entertainment for fun, but this stuff is weird, and I don't know what to think about that gentleman. I forget his name, too.
All the moon landings ever made, and by which countries. So there's actually only ever been 4 to get here: the United States, the Soviet Union, China, and now the newest member, India. They were just successful in landing in the South Pole. So the US and the Soviets have obviously made several landings. China has done 2 successful, but they have another one coming, and here's the most recent new member to make it. What's interesting about this, though, is that other countries have attempted more recently in our timeline. Places like Israel, Japan, and Russia, not to be confused with the Soviet Union, they've attempted but failed. It's a lot of money to just go out into space. During 1976 to 2013, there were no moon landing attempts, and it looks like even the US hasn't tried to join back in on this. Crazy to look back at the 60s and see what this space war was actually like. The entire time from 1960 to 1965 were just unsuccessful attempts. Only the green circles actually made it to the moon, and we're still having trouble with that to this day.
Interesting, right? Like I was mentioning on the video yesterday, I guess I didn't know how many different countries and how many times they have claimed to have gone to the moon. Because I'm not sure if they still did yet. Call me a wacko. I'm a wacko. By the way, I still don't understand why, most people identify so hard with their ideas. Like, if I believe one thing or the other and just act the same way, but I just think about stuff, like, why is that so offensive? Like, I don't care when people think whatever. Like, what does it matter? Like, as long as you're not a jerk, like, that's basically it, right? I mean, don't be a jerk and you can think whatever you want and believe whatever you want. So I believe there was a reset back in the day. Like, so, oh no, now I can't be friends with you. I can't talk to you. There's no reason about anything else. Or why not? Like, why can't we? This is not about where we're going for lunch, how I grill chicken, and, things that may matter of any degree. This is just pure speculation. What do you do when you find out? I'm not really sure what you do. Not really anything. It's just speculation, trying to figure out this puzzle. Why would anybody know so much? You're in one body. You can only be at one place at a time. So you have to connect dots, right? And we're all just trying to connect the dots through our experience and just giving it the best we got. So I don't know.
Oh, well, stone the crows. If you thought the Apollo vision was bad, take a gander at China's attempt to land on the moon. Not only do they make state-of-the-art technology, they decided they'd film it with the quality of a potato. Have a Captain Cook at this.
The same cameras they use to film Bigfoot.
Black and white video in the 21st century? What a load of shit! And as we land, we time warp through some crazy fake dust shit. We cut to these jokers who have got no idea what the bloody hell's going on. Then we cross back to 1960s quality video of them rolling out this big robotic duck on wheels. So NASA can fake 5K video on Mars, but our mates here have a $5 budget and film it on a Game Boy. Fair suck of the sauce bottle.
Dude, they've had such like small cameras forever. I mean, even available for the masses, you know, they were pricier back in the day, but I always remember I kind of looked up to my older neighbors that had remote control airplanes, and I always really wanted to get into that. I built some model airplanes out of the balsa wood that you could put an engine in, but I was really young and never bought the stuff to put the engines inside. But I always thought that was fun. But I remember knowing that you could buy little reading magazines about model airplanes and stuff, and seeing that you could buy these really small cameras that you could fit on there, and they were plenty good, and they're probably better footage than whatever they're getting from the moon when they're going to the moon. So I just don't understand.
Scariest moment of the journey.
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary.
We went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with.
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curve-top radio and listened.
Talking about, how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said, contact light, engine stop.
That's exciting.
A few other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah.
Then we had predicted. When we actually descended the ladder.
If Buzz Aldrin is telling you that, that's Buzz Aldrin, right? I got that right. Don't look stupid on the internet. Don't let these people know that you're as dumb as you really are. See him? Is that him right there? Is this him right here? TikTok? No. But that's Buzz Aldrin, right? Yeah. Anyways, that's weird, right? If he's saying it's good lines and good acting, and no, you didn't see that. You didn't see that. They never did that. So that's kind of makes it pretty fishy.
We're going to the left and right, and then I said,
why don't we build massive...
Okay, so on this channel, I talk a lot about old world buildings and all this stuff, and here's a gentleman that's going to make a little bit lengthier of a video discussing why he thinks that all these beliefs are baloney, and that's fine, and everyone can think what they want, because once again, it doesn't matter, because I could sit down and have a nice cup of coffee with this gentleman and have conversations about a lot of other things that we probably have a lot of other commonalities on, and it really doesn't matter at all. But I noticed, though, when he does talk about it, it feels like it just re-strengthens my thoughts about what has happened with some of these old buildings. But, I want to hear both sides. And, people will be like, if they think the same stupid people that believe that these old buildings that we had resets probably think the earth is flat, whatever. So they just throw it all out instead of just trying to understand it, I guess.
Intricate stone buildings anymore. This is a question that Tartarian mudflood conspiracy theorists often ask to support their belief that at some point in time, or several points in time, there have been these great civilization resets brought about by massive mudfloods that buried everything. And the mysterious they are trying to cover it up. Well, first of all, the idea that we don't build buildings like this or can't build buildings like this is simply wrong. One great example of this is a building that mudflood conspiracy theorists have actually tried to use to prove their theory, even though it actually proves their theory wrong, and that is the La Sagrada Familia Cathedral that is still in the process of being built in Spain. Now, this cathedral, which has been in the process of being built for decades, is set to finally be finished in 3 years, I believe, 2026. But you can literally go and watch videos of the very skilled stonemasons setting the stones in this building. And you can literally follow the phases of its construction through photographic evidence, as well as well-documented historical written sources. So if we can build these massive stone structures, why aren't they popping up everywhere like they used to in cities in the 19th century?
I just want to pause. I mean, there's so much stuff in here, but that's one building that they're making that's new. I believe that we can make buildings. We can. It does not look anything like any of these old world buildings, and it's got a different vibe to it altogether. And that's one. There's too many buildings. There's too many. There's not just a couple. There is not just a couple.
For example. Now, there's a couple reasons for this, but let's stick with the two that I think are most important. The first reason is space. And you'll notice when you look at these older, incredibly intricate stone buildings like the Capitol building, for example, they span a great deal of space horizontally, but not vertically. And as our cities began to grow, horizontal space started to run out. So the priority shifted to making buildings taller. Now, the taller you build these wonderful old stone buildings, the thicker the walls have to become to support the weight of the building above it. And at some point, when you get to a certain height, it just means that a stone building is no longer efficient or economical to build, and it just takes up more space than you're actually trying to save. So we started making buildings out of steel with brick, and then steel and glass or other materials that allowed us to build higher and higher and higher and save horizontal space. The second and most important reason is economic. Not only are the materials used to make these incredibly intricate stone buildings harder to come by, but they're far more expensive than they ever were in the past. We've used up a great deal of the type of resources needed to build structures like this. This is especially true of wood, for example. Our old-growth forests that produced the massive timbers and massive logs that built this country are gone. So not only is the quality of our wood worse, it's also far more expensive.
So the wood is more expensive, therefore stone buildings aren't made anymore. I don't know about that one. And what's with there not being enough land? Have you guys gone for a drive or looked at a map recently? I don't think we're running low on land
than it used to be. Additionally, just basic labor is far more expensive.
Those dang slaves were so much cheaper.
With the rise of unionization in this country in the mid to late 19th century, coal miners, bricklayers, all of these folks who were once cheap and easily exploited labor demanded fair-paying, good-paying jobs. And that made the cost of building all buildings in general far more expensive. So in order to still be profitable, both investors and builders started using cheaper materials and cheaper building methods. And as a result, the skilled labor and skilled stonemasons required to build a building like this found themselves in far less of a demand, and the job started to slowly die out, as did knowledge of the craft behind that job. Now, there are still certainly skilled stonemasons that exist today, but they're using modern techniques. You wouldn't be able to afford it otherwise, considering the time and the labor that it requires.
Also, how do we lose this knowledge? It's like losing the knowledge of how we went to the moon. What are you talking about? We lost the knowledge. Don't we have all the footage and all the everything that you wrote down and all the research and everything? You couldn't piece it together from that? Like, I don't know what it is. The buildings are still standing. What do you mean we just forgot how to do them and we just lost the skills of stonemasons? I totally believe that there were different skill sets that have lost and been phased out, and we don't do that, and that's happened within my lifetime. Like, I totally understand that concept, but yo!
It's all about money. Now, I am not an architect or an engineer. I'm just a guy who likes to read and loves history. So I'm going to recommend a few books to you that I think would really help with understanding this subject matter. The first is actually 4 books, but it's called The 4 Books of Architecture, written by Andrea Palladio in the 16th century. Now, they were actually an architect, so in this book, you can see some of their incredible historic designs, again, written in the 16th century. The second book is called Architect and Engineer by Andrew Saint, and this book goes into a bit more detail about how some of these incredibly...
Dude, I mean, this front looks like a mud-flooded area, like they're unburied and shit, and it's not them. Ah!
Intricate and amazing historic buildings were built. And the third book is called Modern Architecture Since 1900, and this explains some of the ways in which building styles started to shift in the early 20th century. Now, I know that there is no convincing a true mudflood conspiracy theorist. Most of them are too far gone, and they're just going to say that everything I just mentioned in that video, those books, the photos, everything, is all part of the great lie being propagated by the evil they. But for the rest of you who still have your critical thinking skills intact, I hope that helps. Sleep well, and memento mori.
Man, someday I'm going to be a smart man like him. I'm a smart man, and then I will know the truth, and I will finally wake up out of my delusions. Because boy, am I delusional. Because I really think some other things went down. And like I said in the beginning, I have nothing wrong with this gentleman. And I have nothing wrong with his ideas. In fact, it's fun to know, and it helps reflect for either side that you're either side, like there's a side. But you know what I'm saying? Whatever you would like to reinforce, I suppose. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and say it's not just money. It's not just unions. It's not just the lack of horizontal space. It's much more than that. And not the lack of masons that no longer were needed, and not because the timber got small and now we can't make stone buildings anymore. It's not what I think, but I could be 100% wrong, and this gentleman could be right. And I could be living in a delusion. In fact, I believe I live in a delusion. I believe I'm completely delusional. I think you have to be a little bit delusional to be alive. I don't know if we have free will. I think just believing we might have free will is a delusion, and I'm going to roll with it. And it seems like no matter what you tell yourself, it all seems to be some sort of story anyways, positive, negative, or otherwise. And a lot of the times throughout the day, you do the exact same things that you always do, no matter what you believe. You still kind of do the dishes, hang out with people, do the normal stuff that you do. And nothing really changes because of those beliefs and stuff. And they're really not important. And you can just dream and do anything you want. And you know what? It's delusion. It's delusion, which got me to be on YouTube right now to share things with you guys. It's a delusion. I'm like, I think it's a good idea as a 37-year-old man to start a reaction channel sort of thingy and just go with it and play TikToks of stuff like about how there used to be a mud flood in old world buildings and aliens, and look at these shapeshifters. I'm 37 years old. I'm delusional.
Okay, so first thing I want you to notice here is let's take a look at these windows. Can anybody explain to me what's going on with these windows? This is supposed to be the new construction. It either looks like, I would say originally they're all broken out almost, but it just doesn't make sense the more you look at it. It looks like some kind of drawing, some kind of sketching. I think a lot of these photos have clear signs of alterations, not just with the obvious whited out skies, same with this photo here, but they draw in the people. Got a couple photos to show you about that. And they never look like actual construction sites. They look like this thing just came out of a flood, literally. Like it's...
Look at the windows.
No level ground. Construction materials just thrown all around here. I mean, look at that. There's just like a pile of wood going right into one of those windows. And absolutely nobody actually there on the construction site. This whole dome looks like it's just drawn on, to be honest with you.
If that's a construction site, then, you know, just a neglected area could look like a construction site, right? I mean, what?
Gallery Lafayette, France. 1912?
That's a reaction.
On, what was going on back then?
Seriously.
1912, huh? Who was that?
You know why they don't do this anymore? The timber's not as big as it used to be, and unions came in.
Who is that? Come on, Gallery Lafayette.
What I still seriously don't understand is how they actually made these things. Like, some of the carvings and stuff are so intricate, and you can fit your fingers through different things of stone. Like, I don't even know how they would do it if you had some silicone mold that even came and popped out of the stuff if it was just concrete molds. Like, I still can't even make sense of most of that. Like, it doesn't make sense. And a lot of them are so intricate. Like, you can see if it's like some sort of mold, it would still be very impressive and crazy. But I don't even know how they actually do these things yet.
Let's get to the top, man. Let's get into it. This thing is pretty wild. All high-end stores. The place is packed on Easter, man. Let's get to the top. Let's get into it. All right? What were they doing back then? 1912? Then you got that thing. Then you got this thing. You know we had to come to the top and make it make sense, man. Who are these?
They ran out of wood.
People. What was that thing doing? You know, I point these things out on churches, you guys sort of laugh at me. Hey, yeah, Atlantis. Water.
Whoa.
Who's that?
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, I couldn't see that. It was a Roman soldier helmet on the
on
your head from down below. Does that make sense?
France.
We did that one yesterday. The hotel in Glacias or something like that. Paris got so much going on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I didn't even know I went to the Gallery Lafayette, and there's a rooftop. And I saw all these people, and when I zoomed in, I can't zoom in with the front-facing camera, but I showed that who looked like the Statue of Liberty, but it has a Roman hat on. More Roman inspiration? Come on, man. Isn't ballet a French term? Let's just put some Atlantis and Roman stuff on top. That makes sense? Come on, man. With the Eiffel Tower in the distance on a beautiful day in Paris, France, man. Shout out to everyone watching and seeing my trip from afar and just supporting me, man. This is a great trip. Highly recommend Paris. It wasn't that expensive. You know, I was not trying to break the bank, but shout out to Expedia, punching the numbers, and Paris made sense, man. Make it make sense. Beautiful city, beautiful city. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Man, I gotta be honest. It was like maybe a year and a half ago or a little bit more that I started getting into all this old world stuff. And when I watched My Lunch Break, was recommended to me by a friend. My Lunch Break, if you don't already know about it, is a great YouTube channel where it's all about old world stuff. And if you like sarcasm, he's also a sarcastic man, funny guy. But he makes a lot of interesting points and does some actual research, not just a cursory BS ChatGPT search. So that's very interesting. But when I first started looking at that stuff, it really seemed fishy, and I'm just like, oh, this is fun. This is fun. I like that. I'm into it. I'm open-minded. I can, whatever. It doesn't have to be real or fake for me to enjoy it. But after a while, you start to look at those and you're like, dang, like, how did they make these buildings? Why are there so many? Why do they all look like they're all Roman or from the same kind of place? Why do they have all these symbols that I don't recognize as American at all? Why are they all over the world? Why do they have all these pillars? Why is someone building this as a first thing they get after they come here and chop down the trees to make a plot of land to be able to build a building? They make one like that, and then we don't make them anymore because we ran out of wood. We ran out of horizontal space, and I'm just picking on the sky at this point, I guess. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense to me, and at first it didn't, but from my observation, from my untrained eye, things seem off, and I don't know why there wouldn't have been resets and stuff like that. And when he says, like, there can't be mud floods, we know that mud floods happen, and these kind of things happen, and they happen on large scales in a lot of different ways, and it's not like it never happened, it does happen. So, but that's all the stuff that happens on this video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, hit that like and subscribe button so you can make this delusional 37-year-old's man's fantasies come true. And then I can eventually get so big that I make a fake meat thing and whatever, all the Mr. Beast sort of stuff, that's all twisted and dark. Yeah, I'm going to do all that stuff. No, I'm not. I don't know why I said that. Have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you.